I'm not, you're gonna start the meeting and I'm gonna take it off.
Okay. Council meeting, Tuesday, January 9th, 2024 at 7:30 PM. And let's open the meeting with the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance
to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you.
Linda's on the phone.
We're gonna skip by the minutes for a little bit. And we'll move right to the P and Z Administrator Report.
Or you're trying to write down things for a list.
Good evening, Mr. Mayor, Council.
Good evening.
As you can see, there is only one building permit. The other Mr. Ranum got his building permit in for his build next spring. So it is a little before when it's needed, but if you guys have any questions, I'd be happy to answer them.
One councilman said he was gonna reject it.
You got Ty to do it? Or Jesse to do it, okay.
Okay, so you need an approval for that.
Yes, please.
Do I hear a motion to approve?
So moved.
Okay, motion. Is there a second? Okay. Jesse seconded.
Thank you.
All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Same sign opposed.
Aye.
Motion carries.
Thank you.
Pivotal Energy Partners.
My name is Chris Bush. I'm with Diamond Resources. We're a land services company contracted by Pivotal Energy Services to assist them with the proposed pipeline that would run from their facility east of town down to the Enbridge terminal southeast of town. I believe we have a couple of folks from Pivotal on the phone to kind of explain who they are and what they do.
Okay.
Hi there. Good evening, everyone. My name is Krista Jameson, and I've also got my colleague Brendan Hall on the phone here tonight. Like Chris said, we're from Pivotal Energy Partners. Thank you for allowing us to join this evening. Just a quick overview of who we are. We're a midstream energy infrastructure company out of Canada that works with producers to offer transportation and midstream solutions. We've got about 10 facilities across Canada, 50 employees at the moment. We are based in Calgary, Alberta, Canada, but we do have a U.S. headquarters located in Denver. Our presence in North Dakota right now, we've got 2 facilities operating across North Dakota right now and have 2 additional facilities under construction. As you may or may not be aware, we've recently purchased the prior EOG Resources Stanley Rail facility in town.
Excuse me, can I interrupt for just a minute? Are you on speakerphone or
Yes.
on your phone talking into it?
Okay.
Is there any way that you could probably pick up and maybe speak a little louder? Because we're having a heck of a time hearing you.
Yes, absolutely. Why don't I try and put you on speakerphone and see if that's better? Is that a little better? You guys hear me okay?
I think that's better.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Sorry about that. No problem. I'm not sure how much of the first part you guys have heard, but Brendan and I are actually based in Calgary. So we're calling in from Canada today, but we do have a presence in North Dakota.
Krista, you're a little bit hard to hear again. You were good there for a little bit, but now it's a little difficult.
Technology issues, hey? How about this? that better? Is it still cutting out a bit?
Well, I'd suggest just speaking up as loud as you can.
Speaking louder, is that better?
That's better.
A little better, yeah.
All right, just cut me off if you guys can't hear me. So yeah, as I was saying, we recently purchased the EOG Stanley Rail facility close to town, the town of Stanley, in the prior Hawthorne pipeline. So that's now called the Wild Rose Pipeline. So our plans, we've got plans to reactivate that terminal there, the rail terminal, as well as the existing pipeline that connects to the Enbridge NDPL pipeline. Essentially, we are looking at taking a decommissioned asset back into service, as well as evaluating the potential to build a secondary pipeline along the same path the current pipeline lies in to the Enbridge terminal. We believe this will create optionality for oil and gas producers in the area, for both incoming and outgoing volume at that facility. We're currently surveying the right-of-way for the Wild Rose Pipeline and evaluating this project. We do have Chris Pushka from Diamond Resources, who will be representing us in terms of the easement negotiations, and he can speak to some of the landowner negotiations that are currently in place. But yeah, we just wanted to introduce ourselves tonight and here for any questions related to the project or our work in the area.
And just to kind of explain why we're here, in October, we talked to all the landowners involved on this project to let them know that we had that existing easement from 2007 on 8, basically going from that EOG facility down to the Enbridge facility. We asked them if we could go out there, survey it, call it, to see what new infrastructure has been put in place since 2007 to see if there was room for this additional line. Well, most of the routing, there is plenty of room for us. Crossing that little part of Outlot 2 owned by the city of Stanley, there's a Bridger pipeline and the Plains pipeline that would prohibit installation inside that 2007 easement covering that. So we're asking the city if they'd be willing to grant us another easement approximately 50 feet south of where our existing easement is that would allow us plenty of room to safely construct. I believe in that packet they sent over, there's a kind of an aerial overview map. There's a plat map showing the estimated 29.17 rods, and then also an easement and a payment agreement, which would be our initial offer. And we're willing to work with you guys on language changes or anything like that in the easement, should you see fit. So.
And just for my clarification, well, not everybody can see this, we're just talking about that little spot there, just on
So
our,
yeah, it'd be right on the north end of that Outlot 2 there. Yep.
then that's the whole piece that we're talking about.
That would be
This
everything
conversation.
involving the city of Stanley, yes.
This is the full pipeline.
Yes, it'll be for one, and if it's not, we can limit it to one. I think we limit it to just one, but let me confirm that. Yes, we did limit this just to one pipeline.
And that's when we stated in this, what?
It is stated in paragraph, if you go right below, right above the legal description, 4 lines above that, it does say, well, one pipeline. That's the 2007, that's the old easement you're looking at, yeah.
Here's
And you're looking for 50 feet?
Yeah, and we'd be willing to come down a little bit if you guys so requested. We only are asking for one line, so we could probably fit it in a little bit less room. I think the old easement was 50 feet, but that was a multi-line easement, so I think we'd be fine going down to 35 feet. Krista, would you guys agree?
Yeah, lots of room there.
Okay.
That'd be fine.
Move to approve with the amended 35-foot easement.
Okay, there's a motion on the table to approve this easement with the change from 50 foot to 35 foot. Now,
The legal needs.
there's only one thing that I want to bring up, as far as construction wise, when they go to construct that, Chad, staying within that 35 feet, when they construct it is almost impossible, so.
Well,
I think they got temporary.
yeah, we're asking for 100-foot temporary.
Oh,
workspace to
okay,
construct.
that's what I was wondering.
Yeah,
All right,
and we can probably tighten that up a little bit too, because I know it's a little bit congested there, so we'll keep it as tight as we
Right.
can, but would like the option to go up to 100 if necessary.
typically it's 75, but I mean, it's,
Where that's at is that.
yeah, I know, and it's,
Rock area going up.
Yeah.
it's not really a big deal, I don't think, but, so there's a motion on the table. Is there a second?
I will second that. Does legal need to see anything? Do we need to make that part of the motion?
Well, are we referring to the amendments provided by the legal department, this updated easement with all the markups here? Have you all taken a look at that?
So what we have here at the blue markups, that's already been across your guys' desk.
That's our recommendation.
Are you good with that?
I have not seen the blue markups. I'll take a look at them quick. I think we're probably good with these. I better run them by Pivotal. Would you guys be willing to approve this as is if we can agree to it first thing tomorrow morning?
I think that's the way we should go.
Yeah. Yeah, I think we can be in agreement with those. If we have any requested changes, I can just email it back to the council members here. But I think we should be okay.
Okay, do we have to change your motion, Chad, basically to the agreement that's gone across our lawyer's desk with the markups?
That's the one. My motion is for is the markup line from our lawyer.
Okay,
So then if they have any changes or whatever, then it's back to square one.
yeah, okay. And Ty, you realize that when there was a second?
Yep.
Okay, any further discussion on that? All in favor signify by saying aye. Oh, we do gotta do
Kirk?
Aye.
Jesse?
Aye.
Ty?
Aye.
Linda?
Aye.
George?
Aye.
Chad?
Aye.
Hearing no nays, motion carries.
Excellent. Thank you for your time, council members. Is there anybody that could email me those red lines over?
I'll give you my business card.
Okay, excellent.
Thank you everyone for your time.
Okay. Next on the agenda, Arden Thompson. Yes.
I am here for two different reasons. The first reason being is the condition of properties in town and then the zoning of them. I wanted to do an improvement on my property, and it was for my benefit and my neighbor's benefit. My lot is way up higher than his, and so all the drainage and everything from my property would go down there if I didn't try to control it. And I had a rock bed there and flowers and so forth, and water would seep through, and it wasn't getting to be as attractive as it used to be. So I wanted to put a paved driveway the whole way there and clean it all up. And I applied for a permit, and they said I couldn't have one because my property wasn't marked. And I had to get a appraiser, or not an appraiser, but a surveyor to come in and redo my property and charge me over $600. And I was doing it for the benefit of my neighbor as well as myself. And I talked to the contractor, and the contractor said that he could take care of that easy, and he designed it all so it would slope into my land and not go over the fence and into his, so he wouldn't get drowned out. And so we went to do this, but they said I had to get it approved. And I got that surveyor to do that, and then I had to come down here and sign papers and so forth before I could do it. So I did that, and then I said, can we go now then? Are we good to go? And they said, no, you got to have your neighbor come down and sign papers that he's okay with you doing this. I don't know what he's got to do with my land, but I've never been asked if any of my neighbors
Did you
want to
build
do
right
something.
on the property line or up to the property?
Close to it, yeah.
Oh, if
yeah.
it's on the property line, then that's one of the rules we have.
Okay.
It was a consent form, Mr. Mayor. Sorry, a consent form between the neighbors. If you're within 2 feet of that property line, we require a consent form to be signed by both
Exactly.
sides and recorded to the county.
Yep.
And he's an over-the-truck road driver. So that took longer and messed my contractor around and stuff. And finally, he got down and did it. And then we were able to do it. And it really looks nice now, and it's protecting him now. Well, the Veterans Park means so much to me, and it looks so nice. And I've even made the statement that I go by there every day because I go out to my property out on the edge of town. And I find litter in there at least 2, 3, 4 times a week. And I stop and pick it up. And I've made statements to friends of mine and the guys that work out there. If I ever drove by there and saw somebody throw litter in there, I'd probably get my butt kicked because I would have to say something to them. And that's how strongly I feel about that place, how nice it is. Well, then when you leave there and go on down the street, there's properties that don't look good at all after people are coming into town. Another thing that looks so nice is the hospital and nursing homes, big sign. They put the American flag up there. So here you got this Veterans Park and American flag flying. And the only reason I mentioned this state land first is because it looked the roughest. There is at least 4 other properties from the Veterans Park to Main Street that are just very ugly 9/10 of the year from spring to fall. that never get cleaned up. The city puts an ad in the paper that they, if a lawn gets over 4 inches, it used to be, I've been told 8 now, they will come in and clean it up and bill it to the owner. Well, the property by Chad's, I come to the city and asked about it, and they said, we can't do anything about that. That's state land. And I says, the state is handled over in Williston. You'd have to call them. So they gave me their number, and I called them. And the guy talked to me, and he turned it over to his engineer. And his engineer called me back, and he said, I'll get a hold of the city and take care of this. So it went on for a while and nothing happened. I came back and said, I want to go to a city council meeting. They said, on what subject? I told them that subject. They said, no, you can't. It's already been handled.
Who told you you couldn't?
The city workers in the office said I couldn't come because it was already a settled problem. They said they've been in touch with the Williston State and it has to be moved. Everything's got to be cleared off of there, and it will be cleared off in the spring as soon as the snow is moved enough to pull stuff off of there. So spring came, it never got moved. Now we're coming into spring again, and there's still all kinds of stuff on the property.
Well, you're wrong there because it did get moved, because I was the one that actually said it in the council meeting and told him personally he had to move it, and he moved it as soon as the snow was gone. That was the orders from the engineer out of Williston. I took the orders, I passed them on to both the city council and Chad. That's who you're talking about.
Right, and it hasn't been moved. There's all kinds of cars on there now and trailer, and there's trash all along the fence line. I talked to Chad the other day because I asked, did you have to get a new pin put in when you remodeled on your house? He said, no, I have one. Well, I was informed we'll have to get our property redone. Well, there's at least one, maybe tonight, but even 2 vehicles wide there. And Chad informed me that his pin was there. He didn't have to get a new one. And that it's 12 inches from the fence. Well, even all that stuff that looks like junk, it's lawnmowers and so forth, against the fence is over 12 inches wide. So it hasn't been moved. Part of it's been moved. And the other 4 places, it's not just that one. And I also mentioned to him the lot that used to be the community building out here, that big lot that was full of grass and weeds. I said, why hasn't that been cleaned up? One of the ladies I was talking to didn't even understand what property I meant. So the other workers explained to her where it was. Within just a couple of weeks, the process was done. He told me that you got to notify somebody, and within 30 days, if they haven't cleaned it up, the city wouldn't, it would be charged to them. Well, being I had mentioned it to them, they went through the process and got it cleaned up. When I went in and mentioned it, it was knee to waist high. After that, it got so bad that the realtor selling the property had the sign for sale 4 feet in the air to get up above the grass and weeds. And it looks so nice now after they cleaned it up, such a very good improvement. Why did it take a resident in town to mention it to get that done? Council members and city.
We have a list of them, Arden. It doesn't take you to take care of that, but we have a list of the properties. And we have people call in about some of the properties. There's no question about it. And we go look at them. However, you can't just go over and take care of them. Like you said, they have to be 8 inches high before we can do anything about it. At that point, we have to write them a letter and give them 30 days notice. By that time, if it's rained and the sun's come out the grass is very high, and it isn't looking good then at that point. So,
It had been looking like this for a couple months
well,
or more.
we do the best we can on that stuff, and we do try to get that stuff done, but there isn't everything that you can get done right away.
And it isn't just me. There's all kinds of people have talked to me about it. And I've approached people about it and let them know what my attitude
Well, the
is.
way to do that is to come up to the city hall and sign a complaint form. I mean,
I didn't want to complain. I was just asking a question why this went on. I didn't file a formal complaint. I didn't want to. I just wanted to ask, why is this happening? And the property up on the north end of town, there's two properties there, the old Legion Club or whatever you want to call it, and property beside it, great big holes in the roof and the siding falling. Looks just disgusting. Is there anything the city can do to make property owners clean that up?
Well, it's not like we haven't tried to get some of these properties cleaned up. We have. We have a list of them. We actually got rid of one house this summer. That was a problem.
You know,
There's others on the agenda to get rid of, but they're not easy to get rid of, and we sometimes end up in court in order to do it. So it isn't as easy as just saying, well, it's a dangerous property or it's an abandoned property. You still have to go through all the steps to do it. It's not cheap and it's not easy. I mean, and I know.
what's the average time it takes? This has been going on for years.
Well, I don't know if there's an average. Go ahead.
The last time that we did them on the house we took down this summer, it took 18 months for it to happen. And that was with monthly deadlines. The property owners have a surprising amount of property rights still, even though they have left the homes or abandoned the properties. We still have to go legally through all the steps in our ordinances to get that taken down. And it does take quite a bit of time.
Okay, that explains that. But I want to emphasize and get it clear, maybe she can tell me how many lots on the two blocks. The two blocks that I live on are the Bethel First Edition, the block I'm on and the block south of us. And the only property that looks bad is that state property at the end of the block. Everybody else's yard is groomed nice and looks just really good. But when I went to do that improvement on my property, I was told that I had to get it resurveyed and done. And I don't know why the pins ain't still there. They were there when I bought the land and built my house. I don't know who took them. And I was informed that everybody had to do that, and the guy had to start way down south and come, and that's why it costs so much.
Well,
Are the other lots pinned, or was it just Arden's that wasn't?
So depending on the lot, sometimes we have good luck with property owners being able to find their property pins, and sometimes they can't find them. And then you have to hire a surveyor. The reason that I did require you to get a surveyor and to find the property pins, or to find the property pins without a survey, if you could do it, was because you wanted to go right up to that property line. So I needed to ensure for the city that where you were going to injure concrete was at the edge of your property and not encroaching onto your neighbors or not shortchanging you and not having enough. And then that consent form that had to be signed by you and the neighbor becomes a legal document that gets signed at gets recorded at the county that allows that to never be able to change. So if you sell your house or he sells his and one or the other doesn't like the way that it's done, it can't be changed because you have a legal document recorded with Montrose County that says it can't be changed. So that's one of the ways that the city looks out for you guys as property owners. And we require on a case like that we know where the survey pins are, just to protect you as the homeowner and to protect your neighbor.
And why couldn't they find mine? Why are they gone?
I don't know, you own the property.
Yeah, I own the property and have never touched nothing. And people have built on both sides of me and nobody's asked me to sign nothing. And
Are they built up to the property line?
yeah,
With what?
both fences. And I have no problem with it.
Were the
They're fine
fences
there.
there before you moved there?
No. I built my house there and lived there since 1980. These fences got put in the last 10 years.
Well, if they're built right on the property line, they would have had to get a signature from you. but-
Well, I don't remember doing it. And why we couldn't find my pins, I don't know.
I
So,
don't know, getting back to the state land, I drove by there all summer long. I guess I didn't see that it looked bad. Both Ward and Chad, they own the two, or they're own the property alongside of them. They've kept
Chad
that
cleaned
stuff.
his up perfect.
They've kept those lots mowed for years. They do the mowing, the cost is on them. They've kept those lots looking decent. And that was an agreement way back with the engineer from Williston many years ago. Now that's since changed when I talked to that last engineer. However, the only one I've heard bitch about it is you, Arden.
I'm not bitching about it. I'm bringing it
Well,
to
I
your
guess that's-
attention, wondering why it's not cleaned up. And you say it's cleaned up now. It's not. There's still all kinds of stuff. I had to go right to the inch on my property, but then somebody in the same block doesn't have to. Why is that?
You had to what?
I had to get.
You had to find your
permit
pins.
And had to go right to the edge of my property and not allowed to do anything else or go any farther. So why can someone else go farther on the same block?
What are
And
they
why
going-
wouldn't they want it? There was even farm machinery on there and up to 9 and to 11 pickups at a time and gravel trucks and all that. And that was during his reconstruction. So I thought that was fine, but they were even there later. And then the trucks drove up the alley and there's 3 of us that paid to pave most of that alley. Myself and Cobinson's and the guy across the alley from him. And they drug that gravel all the way up onto that pavement.
You do realize that alley's everybody's on that block?
Yes, I do. Yes, I
Okay,
do.
so whether you paid to pave it or not, that's got nothing to do
No,
with
and I'm
anything.
not saying that. I'm not saying that at all. But the gravel trucks and so forth were down there right at the edge of 8. Because all they had to do was back out onto 8 and go. But they drug all that gravel up the alley.
That didn't
Yeah.
come from the trucks that were hauling on Chad's, because I was one of them that hauled over to Chad's. That come in from the north. The only reason that you had gravel running down that alley would have been MDU, when MDU
I
was
asked
working back there.
MDU about it and they said they didn't do it.
I don't care what they said.
And I also asked and visited with other people, and there's 2 people that have told me they saw that Orangey State gravel truck go through the alley.
That happens to
also.
be my truck.
Right, and they saw that go through the alley also. This is what I was told. I wasn't home. We were gone for a medical reason for 3 days in Rochester or Bismarck, I forget which one of the 2. And we came home and found this. And there was a big pile of gravel right in front of my driveway where it meets the alley. So I couldn't bring my car out of either garage. And it was so obvious that it was intentional. It was the only place that happened.
So you're either accusing me or him of doing that intentionally?
No, I'm not.
Well, that's what
I'm
it
saying,
sounds like.
no, I'm saying it was done. Apparently, by looking at it, it appeared to be intentionally
By who?
by
Who-
whoever
who
did it.
would
I
have-
don't know who did it. I have no idea. I know the MDU trucks went through.
But you
Yeah,
said
I
it
was
was the
told your
gravel
truck
truck that
went
was
through.
driving back
I
and
can't hear
forth.
you, sir.
You said it was the gravel truck driving back and forth in that alley. Isn't
I
that what
said
you
there
said?
was a gravel truck went through there, plus MDU went through there.
Well,
They both went through there. Who did that? I don't know.
I don't know who would have gone through there with that truck, because it wasn't me, Arden.
Well, I don't know either.
And I
And I don't know
and I
that it
own the
went
truck.
through. I just know 2 people told me it did.
Well, those two people you probably better question further
Okay,
before you accuse people of doing
I'm
it.
not accusing you, I'm telling you
Well,
what I
it sure
heard.
certainly sounds
I
that
did
way.
not say, Marley, your truck went through there. I said I was told by two people that an orange gravel truck went through. I was told that. I didn't say it
You know, Arden,
happened.
I don't believe anybody is gonna dump gravel in front of your garage. I just don't believe that.
Well, I wonder why it was there.
I don't know, Arden.
I got a big construction broom and a
Did you
barn
take a
broom
picture of it?
with steel.
Did you take a picture
No,
of
I
it?
did not.
Then I don't believe you.
You don't have to, the whole pile, there's even remnants of it, what I cleaned up left. Let me finish my sentence. The gravel was so bad, and I swept it off with a commercial or a barn broom, a stiff bristle broom, was able to sweep the whole pavement the whole way, except there, and it was so hard and packed. I had a steel scraper that wide and that deep, and I had to push and push with that. And I pushed it all over to the west side of the alley, and it was a good sized pile. When I broke it loose and put it together, the people that come and worked on the yard behind me and the fence there said they were wondering what the hell that was. And I said, that's all the gravel I had to push off of here that I couldn't even move.
So you pushed it onto your neighbors across the
No,
alley?
No. I
That's what
pushed
it sounds
onto
like.
the edge of the alley.
Oh, I see.
It was still on the alley, on the pavement, but we could drive. I'm not here to argue. I'm just telling you what happened.
Right.
May I, for a second? I hear you, Arden. I had three things I just jotted down here. I understand the frustration with the pins. I built my house. I had to find my pins, and my neighbor had already had three of them. I'd pay for that last one. It cost me $1,300. Roughed eighth nickel slots. If you got it for $6, I should have used who you did. The other thing is, I think we have a pretty good history of the enforcement. You know, like last summer, I remember getting a packet of the properties of every place we need to do enforcement on. You know, so I think that we do a pretty good job as a city. Is there one that gets past the goalie? Probably, but it's as easy as, notifying somebody up here in writing that there's a problem property. But from my viewpoint, I haven't seen a shortage of properties that we've sent letters to in enforcement stuff every year. And then on the state property we're talking about, you'd mentioned, whether he had to find his pins. I think if you know where your pins are, there's no, as long as you can prove where they're at, I understand that. Me, when I did my property, I couldn't find my pins, so I had to pay somebody to come put them in. But as far as the state property goes, it's mowed. It looks good to me. I don't honestly, I'll be in a nice way. I don't really care because it's not our property. It's mowed. I don't have to worry about it as a state, or since the state owns it. I can't sell it. I can't build on it. And it hasn't presented as a nuisance to me. I recognize there's some properties we drive by and say, well, we should do something on. That one never stands out to me as one with an issue. So if there's stuff on there, it isn't the city's property. It doesn't appear to be a nuisance to me. So that's just my 2 cents, just to show the consistency. I had to buy my pins. It sucked. And at times, I think sometimes we've had to do more enforcement than I think, we should have to do on a, summer basis. But, there was definitely, I think, my opinion, there's no shortage of enforcement actions for nuisance properties this year. We've had probably a dozen or better this year. So, if one does get past the goalie, put in writing and we will respond to it or point it out.
Well, when I came back in here and wanted to see the city council, and they said, why? And I said, because of that property. They said, you can't because it's already taken care of and it has to be moved.
Which employee told you that?
Huh?
Which city employee told you that you can't? Because I want to know that.
It was one of the girls in the office.
Which girl?
There was 3 of them in there talking to me.
And they all told you that you could not come to a city council meeting, a public
No,
meeting?
One of them said it, and I don't know which one by name, but one of the three girls said, no, that has been taken care of. It has to be moved, and it's all gonna be moved as soon as the snow's gone. It didn't get moved, it hasn't got all moved yet, and I called the engineer in Williston and asked him about it. He said, I have already talked to the city about that, and I said, well, it still has private property on it. He said, I will get a hold of them again. He said, that is up to the city to keep that lot cleaned up. We have an agreement with them. This is what the engineer told me. So that's why I went back in, is because he said that. So I thought, well, instead of talking to him, I got to talk to the city. He said they're responsible.
So Arden, I just have a question. What are you looking to accomplish here tonight?
What am I looking to accomplish?
Yes, because
Uh,
here's what I can tell. The form for the fence and your property lines, that we do to everybody. Okay? The difference between your land and your neighbor's land and Chad's land and the state land is that he's not building on the state land. Everything he's already got there is mobile and can be pulled out with a trailer. None of that is a permanent fixture. So you don't need to sign paperwork for that.
But it's not been pulled out.
I
And,
understand.
and the engineer told me, and the city workers told me that it's settled, it's all got to be moved. So I'm just asking why isn't
I
it?
was at the same city council meeting when that was said, and to our knowledge, that was the end of it. And if that engineer talked to Ward and Chad and came up with other agreements after that, I don't know. But as of right now, all the stuff that was supposed to be fulfilled had been done. So this would be a new complaint if you want to file one.
I'm not filing complaints. I'm asking why you tell me something's going to be done and then not doing it.
Right.
He said that it was all going to be evacuated as soon as the snow left. There's still all kinds of stuff there.
To your
Even all-
satisfaction, Arden, or to everybody else's?
What's there?
To your satisfaction or to everybody else's?
To what am I satisfaction?
Does it have to be done to your satisfaction?
No, it has to be done to what the laws say. And the engineer said the law is the city's responsible and they're supposed to get it off of there.
And
Not because I want it off of there.
most all of that stuff was off of there and the lawn was being mowed like they said. The lawn looked fine there. The lot looked fine.
It's even got big ruts in it where it was drove in the mud.
Oh my God, Arden, I tell you what, this isn't unusual for you. So I guess that's why I'm a little frustrated right now.
Yeah, and I guess I'm frustrated too because I was afraid it was going to come to this judging Arden rather than facing the issues. And the issue
We have
is,
faced the issue, Arden.
the issue was that it was to get moved off of there and it hasn't been moved off.
No matter what you've dealt with, you've had problems with everybody.
No, I haven't.
Yes, you have.
And why are you bringing that up?
What?
What are you knocking Arden
that's just-
for? This isn't about Arden.
Well, it is because you come to the meeting.
Well, am I allowed to?
Yes, you are, absolutely.
Okay. Have I asked for anything that's wrong?
Well, you questioned what was on that lot. We explained to you why you had to find your pins because you built up next to it. You act like we're treating you differently from everybody else. We're not. We don't
Okay.
treat you any different.
Okay.
If that's all you got, thank you.
Yeah, that's all I got. But I'll tell you what, I might be back.
Well, you do that. You're welcome to come back anytime. Okay, moving on to the next item, Visitors Committee.
So there was just one application. The committee met on Friday at 4:00. I didn't get minutes, but I was told that yes, they approved it. So this would be for the Stanley FFA for their donkey basketball for $3,000.
Move to approve.
Okay, motion on the table to approve. Is there a second?
Second.
Motion and a second. All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Same sign opposed. Motion carries. Was there anything further on that visitors committee or? Okay. Rose Engineering updates.
Good evening, Mayor and council members. 'Tis the season for rate adjustments there, so that's why I just handed out is the 2024 rate schedule for our organization. So you have that going forward for any of the general projects that we have going on. Our update this evening, we've got Country Estates Water, we're on winter suspension, nothing to cover there. The big item is the Stanley CIP Phase 2. As you're aware, we bid that last month and we only had one bidder, came in very high. And so we're, since the last meeting, we've taken the time to visit with the other prime contractors we thought we were going to see bids from to find out why they didn't show up. And really there were three primary plan notes that we had in that set of plans that they did not like. And so I just wanted to mention those to you so that you guys can consider what they are. First of all, working hours, we had them listed as 7 to 5, Monday to Thursday. That's too short a day for them, for as much work as they want to get done. They would like to work 7 to 7, Monday to Thursday, if we can do that. If we can get Fridays, that also helps do it. But even going 7 to 7 on those days basically gets them one more day a week fit in. So 48 hours versus 40 hours of work. The second one was the concern about having hard surface back in going into next winter. They were concerned that if we ran into an early fall or something like that, that we would not be able to get pavement back in, and wanted to have the leeway of having millings, something like that, a temporary surfacing that would limp us through one winter. So that's another one to consider. And then the third one, and that was the biggest one, was we called for pavement removal for a work area of 2 blocks at a time. That was a tough one for them to handle because we were planning to mill the asphalt to take it out. And if we could only take out 2 blocks at a time, then they're saying they have to mobilize that mill back in and out. And so that was expensive and hard to schedule. So our recommendations, first of all, if the council desires to move forward with award, we can forego any concerns here, worry about trying to make some adjustments with them as a change order of some sort. But if we are going to do anything besides that, I'd like to get some guidance on those 3 items. If we can mill everything up and leave the milling sitting in place and drive on that surface, we can save a lot of mobilization cost. But that also means we can have citizens that are going to be unhappy with driving on millings for the summer. So
What was the 75
it was talked about to make sure that we had the accesses open to the driveways at at the end of the day when people are coming home from work, as opposed to preventing that. We have a note in there that says that they have to provide access to all driveways at all times. But to do it and to get access through, we had that limitation in there.
I suspect the Monday and Friday might. Okay. I suspect that the Monday through Thursday may have also been a response to the last project where they were working like 6 on or whatever, and then they'd be off for a few. So Saturday morning at 6 a.m. or Sunday morning at 6 a.m. when it was their weekend on, if you were home for the weekend, that may have been part of the discussion as well, having been part of the first place.
That makes sense.
Because they were doing like 6 or 7 on or 10 on, and then they'd take whatever off.
Mary, people die in bed, you know?
I'm not saying that. What I'm saying is there may have been complaints from the last project.
I'm just kidding you.
It's all right. They were nice to me with the last project. I don't know how many times they.
Yeah, they were great, I thought.
I think we need to consider some of these changes because I was at the bid opening and it was really high. It was $1 million plus over.
Yep.
It's almost 2 million over the estimate.
About 1.8. Yep. It was interesting that happened to be a statement made by the contractor. It was the same amount they got hit with fines this winter.
Well, they could have got hit several more times because when I would walk over and inspect in a ditch, I seen guys without hard hats. I seen them in non-trench ditches. They were very, I want to let my crews do that.
Yeah, they were repeat offenders, and that's why they got hit as hard as they did.
Well, it wouldn't have been their first time because they wouldn't have got hit that hard if it was their first time.
Yes, sir.
I just kind of good faith pass that kind of extra cost on to the taxpayer.
No.
We have roads and sewer and water that definitely need to be done. And if adjusting some of our requirements and put it back on the street for bid, we can save $1.5 million. We have nothing to lose and everything to gain because at the current bid, it's a no-go.
All right. It's just, well, and you know very well that that's exactly what they're doing. They're picking up their fine on the backs of the people in town here, so.
Me 7 to 7, Monday through Friday. Leave our people alone on their weekends. They will make access to driveways. You know, I mean, I get it, and they dig out the street from a driveway to prep the base and put them in the center. Put the asphalt on. Yeah, there's probably a whole day that you're not gonna be able to get into your driveway. Well, that's just like, you know, I mean, it's not possible that they can have access to it.
But you're not gonna limit them to not ever being able to work weekends, are you?
I'm not, I'm just going by what he just said, 7 to 5, Monday to Thursday. And if Monday to Friday is what they're asking for.
Well, it helps. They would like to work weekends, and in case of the contractor that was the only bid that we had, you know, that crew comes out of Minnesota, that comes out of northeastern Minnesota, and so those guys like to work. I had them on a project over closer to Bismarck here a couple of years ago. They like to work that
10 on, 4 off?
10 on, 4 off schedule, and yep, it is the same crew. That's the way they like to operate. Well, if we can't use a weekend, we can't use a weekend. So we can make that adjustment and hopefully get some other contractors looking at it.
Yeah. I lived with it outside my window, and
Well-
it was a couple months of inconvenience, and now it's not even in my head because it's done.
But typically,
It's their
they're,
first weekend.
It was just the first time it happened.
I mean, what do we have, like 90 days of build time? So I mean, in my opinion, weekends, I mean, cut her off at night sometime, but I know like, in my opinion, just get in and get it over with. So
I see
from my
that.
standpoint, I don't.
I see the contractor side too much, I guess, when I think of jobs like that, because when you are from out of town, you know, you don't want to be sitting in a motel 2 days a week. You want to go home.
Yep.
So that 10 and 4 makes perfect sense to me. It always did.
Well, and did you guys feel many complaints with time frame or work hour times?
We never received any complaints in regards to those, no.
Patrick said, he was just saying that, was requested by Curtis in phase 1 review that they do it this Monday to Thursday thing. It was talked about at the public input meeting to have that weekend.
You
The
know, I think,
reality is, you should, if they have any kind of production at all, they should be, worst case, they should go by your place one weekend. So you have
Well,
a
and
Saturday that's a problem.
I
or
think
a
Mary
Sunday.
should put it in the paper where, you know, if there is a complaint or something, that they have your number, Ken.
That's fine. That's fine.
That's probably my perception.
No, I don't know how you can expect them to do the construction actually and limit them, you know, to not working weekends. That's just not the way construction works.
I understood why 10. It made sense to me.
Yep.
So it was just the first Saturday or Sunday morning, we were expecting them to be back there.
I think if we put this back out, I think it should be made aware in there that that should be struck from that.
Put it back on the street as the contract that we had the first time.
What's that?
Put it back on the street with the same verbiage of contract that we offered the first time. Let's see if we can get the right price and get it done.
Basically, everything that we're talking about, all three of these notes are about schedule and giving those guys the opportunity to control their own schedule more. We locked them down and we paid for it in the number that we got. Quite frankly, and so we can accommodate to a certain point, but if we want to get it done, I think we've got to open it up a little and let these guys control their work.
Doesn't matter what kind of hours you set for.
Yeah.
What about this 2 blocks at a time requirement? Where's everybody at on that?
That's a big one.
Well,
That was-
it's big because I understand that part of it too for them. Because when you got a crew that comes in, kind of a special part of their crew that comes in and does the demo work on the asphalt. And they do all their hauling at that point, and they haul to a pile and they bring a crusher to that pile. If they can't demo all the blocks that have to be done, it's a lot more expensive for them.
Yeah.
Which they're passing that on to us. There's no question about that. But it just makes their job harder too. I mean, because then you got to bring those certain people back in. And a lot of times it's an entirely different bunch of guys that come in just for that demo.
We didn't have 2 blocks on the first page.
No, that came as a result of phase 1. Yeah, it was issue with phase 1.
I really didn't, I didn't get any calls.
I didn't either.
Phase 1. My motion is put it back on the street with the same verbiage as the first, that was phase 1.
Okay, there's any other discussion? Any from the audience? Okay. Okay, let's take a vote. All in favor, signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Same sign opposed. Okay, motion carries.
Thank you.
Sorry, Mayor, can I add to that before he moves on to the next?
No. Oh, yes, you can. I'm sorry.
Okay. Just a reminder, protest hearing is the 23rd at 7 PM. So we do need to have a quorum for that meeting. I will
Okay.
send out an email reminder before then, but I just thought I'd put that out there. So January 23rd at 7 PM. So that's a protest hearing for District 57, which is the street improvement portion.
Okay,
Thank you.
Thank you. Shared use path, we're just waiting on the DOT to close it up, and I know you had an invoice that came from them for their administration, correct? So the one that you saw from us was our stuff, and then, of course, they've got their administration fees to deal with. I don't need any action on that one. Lead service line inventory is a project that's going on through the EPA. They're looking for lead service lines all over. And we're working with Bartlett and West on collecting information on the communities that we work with within the state. And so the guys are going to be gathering that information. We've got a survey that's going out with the next water bill. So you may have some questions on what a scratch test is and that kind of thing that comes in to let you know what's going on for people to can basically self-monitor or self-report on that to gather as much information.
We're contracted with Dave or Bartlett and West.
To Bartlett and West. Yes, that's correct.
for the most part, all the lead lines after this project, biggest share of those lead lines should be gone in Stanley.
Well, they're talking from the dirt stock to the meter in the house.
I know, but
So they're not changing.
there was a lot of them changed back in the 70s and 80s
Yep.
that they were taken out with the projects that were going on. That's why I say I think a lot of that lead's no longer around. I mean,
Yeah, we don't expect to find many, especially after phase one and now phase two. We should be pretty well getting to the end of them. But at any rate, for those that are listening, when they get that survey, if they have any questions, they can call the guys over at the office, 628-3340, and they'll help them out to
okay.
verify what we've got. Last thing that I don't have on the list, but if we do open up this milling process, we do have the possibility of getting a crew in here that's going to come in and mill. And it may be worth consideration by council to look at those 5 blocks of pavement down by our office that's having problems. If you want that milled out at the same time, we can cross that bridge once we come to it in February, but I just wanted to plant that. And then, of course, the John Ryan information that we had shared a few months ago. If we want to do a mill and use that as subgrade, again, we might have an opportunity with the mill coming in if we can get phase 2 to line out for us correctly. That's it.
Okay. Thanks, Ken. The resolution to designate the depository of public funds.
So this is just a formality. It has to be done every even numbered year. So obviously, our main would be through Bravera Bank, but we also do some stuff through Bank North Dakota, which sometimes is for our bonds. So
Okay, can I get a motion
Move to designate the Bavarian Energy Bank of North Dakota as our depository.
that, is there a second?
Second.
Okay, a motion and a second by George. All in favor signify by
gotta do
saying.
roll call.
Oh, yeah,
Sorry, it's a resolution.
yeah, it's a resolution.
Kirk? Jesse?
Aye.
Ty?
Aye.
Linda?
Aye.
George?
Aye.
Chad?
Okay, hearing no nays, motion carries. Park District request or loan. Is this a pay request? It was, wasn't it?
Move to approve a
Okay. Motion to approve,
Second.
second by George.
Jesse, or sorry, Kirk. Jesse. Ty.
Aye.
Linda.
Aye.
George.
Aye.
Chad.
Hearing no nays, motion approved. North Dakota DOT Progress Bill, Shared Use Path.
So this was the one that I mentioned at the last meeting that I hadn't received. As Ken had mentioned, the one they received is just the one that they send out to the engineer and the contractors. This one would include all their fees plus administration. So I believe it was like 28, little over 28,000, I think, that was approved at the December meeting, but obviously this includes additional amount. Sorry, I was trying to look through here and see if it, yeah, the amount you guys had approved last month was 28,985.10, but with their additional administrative fees, so the total that's due is $34,065.61.
Okay, so we need a motion to approve that 34,000.
Motion. So moved.
Second.
Okay, motion and a second. Lynn, please.
Kirk. Jesse. Ty.
Aye.
Linda.
Aye.
George.
Aye.
Chad.
Hearing no nays, motion carries. Post office and mailboxes.
It's me again. Good evening. Mr. Hishlin asked that this be put on the January agenda. I did originally, I think, talk to you guys about this, I believe it was the October meeting. And sent out the email, and then everybody got busy and such, so we're kind of reconvening with it now. I don't know if everybody's had a chance to kind of look and see what it's all about. I know Lynn did put in what some of the previous minutes were, and then also with the original draft of the ordinance from years prior that had been presented to the council, and then ultimately the council had decided not to go with it. So I don't know if anybody has any questions or what your thoughts are.
Bids, I asked for it to come back on. There's just a few things that have came up within the city. One is people are putting no parking signs on their mailbox, which is illegal. I mean, you can't enforce no parking on your mailbox. It's by luck and by golly, if somebody parks in front of it and you don't get your mail, then it is what it is. The other thing is when our city crews are plowing snow, they have no place to roll snow other than to the curb and the gutter. And if it blocks the mailbox far enough out, then the mail delivery system won't drop off mail there either. Earlier today, I was thinking about this, and I can think of 5 local contractors right off the top of my head that do snow removal that put you on a list that they can hire. If they need that opened up, then they should hire that local contractor to come and move the snow. It's not up to our people to try to figure out how to move snow around the mailbox without breaking the mailbox off or damaging the property. And there's just a lot of naysayers out there in the community right now, coming down hard on especially the snow removal crew for leaving a mess, as they would say, in front of their mailbox. How we got to this is the Postal Service charges what I would consider an exorbitant amount of money for a post office box, and you can get a mailbox at your curb for free. You pay nothing for that mailbox. So there's been a lot of new mailboxes put up in Stanley.
Which seems totally backwards.
It does to me. But nonetheless, it leaves us ultimately the problem. Not a problem that I feel that we need to deal with, but if we, and I'm not for ordinances, but if we have to write this, if we take a look back at the one that we did have, so that we can say, sorry, it's on you.
Todd, do you have anything off the top of your head on the ordinances on that?
It's in your pack.
There's nothing in writing right now, but I see exactly what Chad's saying. People are putting mailbox on helter skelter all over, and then no parking. And the two that he's referring to, I'm gonna say, it's right across the street from the dental office. Where's the dental patient supposed to park? And the insurance from that old clinic building. If that is enforced and they can't park there, move them boxes closer to your driveway in a no parking area. Something needs to be done, whether it be an ordinance or something to straighten this out. To get it organized and get it all so that it's
Yeah.
a little more organized. And if it has to go back through the planning and zoning or through Amanda's office, I'm for it, because what we got now is just a help yourself.
I guess what I'd like to recommend is to take what we did have drafted, take it to your planning and zoning. You guys read through it, pour over it, and redline it, fix it up, whatever. Best recommendation, and bring it back to us if you would, please.
You want it on January, Todd?
I didn't figure that
I
it's
don't know
was
what
gonna
date
turn
it is.
into a problem like it
Christmas
has, but
vacation?
there's a lot of mailboxes.
February.
Well, and I think what a lot of people don't realize is that when the city guys are cleaning snow, I've heard complaints about going by their driveways and, the gate probably not getting dropped or whatever. When you have a lot of snow to move, and you have to have momentum behind that equipment when you're moving this snow. And if you stopped for every driveway or every other thing that you're coming, up on, you'd never get done moving snow. You just can't move snow that way. So I think everybody's got to kind of take a breath on some of that stuff too. And everyone's welcome to call the city and if their driveway's plugged, then call them in.
I do believe, and Ellen, correct me if I'm wrong, because this isn't completely my department, but sometimes I get the enforcement calls anyway. I believe we have it in our current ordinances right now that if there is snow from city snow operations at the bottom of your driveway, you are responsible for clearing that back out as the property owner.
Well, you are.
I believe it is in our current city ordinances right now. And I know that the guys do the best that they can, but
Alen kind of has a list of a few people too, that if there's older people that need help getting their driveways cleaned out,
Right.
when that happens, if they would call the office, she can give them a name of somebody to call that'll come over and clean that out. And it's.
You?
Huh?
You?
she just volunteered you.
Well, I told you that one other day that if there's people around that need that done, I'll be more than happy to go do it.
I think she's trying to get a rise out of you and it's not working.
She
Marley.
was, and it's not gonna work. I'm still ahead of her tonight.
You're one step ahead.
And then
Just tonight.
within that include what your visit with the postal service.
Okay,
So that we can cover all of it with just one.
okay.
Snow replacement and make sure one request that I would have is that it's on your own property. You can't place it on somebody else's property.
Okay.
Well, is that sidewalk technically their property?
It's not, that's not always the case, so there's been some that have been put.
Across the street, because the post office will only drive one way
Yeah.
up the block. So then if you want a mailbox, you have to put it in front of Chad's house and you live across the street from him. And then he's responsible for cleaning around it and all that rigmarole.
We don't want anything in Chad's yard.
Except
That's
snow.
for sure. Okay, I guess we got that. Yeah. Yeah. Public Works
Thank you.
report, I think. No, police report.
Here, I'll even leave them.
Thank you, Amanda.
Thank you.
Good evening, Mr. Mayor and council members. How are we doing tonight?
Good.
Good. As of right now, the police report, we don't have anything. Everyone's just kind of getting out there working. Our newest hire, doing very well. She's geared to go. Thank you.
You're welcome.
I appreciate it.
No problem.
I don't have my car, so I don't have my.
They do
PA.
that to me all the time too. So.
PA.
I'm sure that you, I can't help it, sorry.
Oh, okay, great. So she's going to be going off to the academy here mid-March or mid-February. Outside of that, scheduling and every functioning is going well.
Well, looking over your citations given out and stuff, I went over it pretty good today. And I think you guys are doing a good job.
Yeah, as a matter of fact, we were just in it. I was just in it today as of, what are we on, the 9th day of January? We have 25 cases, which would be actual criminal cases that we are currently working. So everybody's doing what they need to do. It's a well-oiled machine. So I'm proud of everybody that I work with, chief and everybody underneath me. So it's doing good.
Much appreciated.
Keep up the good work.
I appreciate it. I thank you for the backing and stuff like that. And then you got your stuff.
Yep, I got one thing I talked to Chief Linton this afternoon on, and what it is a mutual aid agreement. So emergency services of all sorts have mutual aid agreements with their neighboring communities, their neighboring departments, you know what it is. Stanley Police Department does not have a mutual aid agreement with anybody. Williams County, what is he? Williams County Emergency Management has put together a mutual aid packet and put it out for the most of Divide has signed it, most of Burke has signed it, all of Williams has signed it, part of McKenzie County, Watford City area, they've signed on to it.
Boarding State of Montana has signed it.
The Sydney Fairview area over there, they've signed on to it. And I guess knowing how important mutual aid is from the fire department standpoint, I can't imagine that it's any different on the law enforcement.
Well, I think
side.
we already have an example of that when there was a little boy lost last year and we had overwhelming response from all the police departments and different sheriff's departments and highway patrol, many, but there's others more than that, but I think we've seen what it can do.
My recommendation and motion would be to go ahead and sign that mutual aid agreement with the Williams County Emergency Coordinator over there so that we have access to all of that. I did ask some questions. It's not gonna cover if somebody's got a locked door on their car and they need us to come and unlock it in Powers Lake. That's not gonna happen. It's gonna be that high profile lost child, armed standoff, active shooter type thing. Maybe people that have outstanding warrants that are not a shoplifting warrant, but they're a felony type warrant.
Your felony warrants.
Those would be the kinds of things that our department would be asked to go help. And with that, it's covered within our policy that if that officer that's on duty gets called to go to that mutual aid, whoever's on time off or days off or whatever is going to be activated to come to be on the street in Stanley so that we are not giving up police protection.
So the other thing that does say is there's no obligation, like if it's going to leave a hardship on your community and there's no way to backfill, there's no obligation that you have to drop and run
Correct, yeah,
either.
no, I mean, basically our community comes first. So if I'm the only one in town and Derek's the only one in town and something comes up, if Derek can come out and cover for say, then I go. If I'm the only one running the ship that day, sorry, I've got to maintain our area first. So like Chad was saying, it's for those, essentially the shit hit the fan moments. That's when we're going to go, missing child, an officer involved shooting, high-speed chases or something like that, or pursuit of a felony, that's the stuff that we're going to engage with this mutual aid packet and stuff. So, I mean, for instance, was it last year, a year and a half ago, almost 2 years ago now? The guy with the, 50 pounds of explosives in his apartment. They basically shut down, damn near 5 square miles of Williston.
Yeah.
So they taxed everything that they possibly had on that west side of the state, to do that. And so that's what we would be willing to be a part of by signing that. The nice thing is we would be, as of right now, we'd be the only agency in the Montreal County area that would be a part of this packet, this aid packet that they're trying to get into.
Okay. Chad's got a motion on the table. Okay, there's a motion and a second. Any further discussion? All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Same sign opposed. Hearing no opposed, motion carries. Thanks. Public Works.
Good evening, everyone. What I have in front of you is there's some pricing for that sim line and spin doctor there's a trade value for the Durapatch. I included 2 pictures of 2 of the Durapatchers we're looking at, so you guys have an idea of what we're looking at. One has $500, the other one has close to $1,000. To boot would be for the 18 to be 22,000 and for the 19 to be 28,000. And with this Durapatcher, it require two workers runs it.
What's your recommendation?
I say the 19 has less hours and it looks a lot cleaner than that 18.
Move to accept the recommendation of the Public Works Director to purchase the 2019 Durapatcher.
Second.
Motion and a second on the table. Any discussion? All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Same sign opposed. Motion carries.
The second one I have is a gate valve wrench. We've borrowed Ward's a little bit. It's basically a one-man tool for exercising gate valves. I went back through the records. There hasn't been a manhole or a man. The gate valves and fire hydrants have not been exercised in a number of years. So this is definitely going to be on the list for this summer to identify what valves work and what do not work.
You probably better have some on hand before you start identifying them.
And we do, but this gate valve wrench should make life a lot easier than 2-man and a cheater. It runs off a Milwaukee battery. It comes with 2 batteries, and it counts your rotations both ways. And it only has so much.
They do it slow enough where you don't get that hammer.
Yeah, you can set your torque. So with what I have in my vision to identify everything is this will make life a lot easier. Because 2 guys in a cheater pipe, you can twist them off pretty easy.
But when I say you better have the valves to
Yeah.
replace them, once you do start operating these valves, you're gonna find valves that are bad.
Oh, there's a pretty good list of them that are bad already.
Yeah. So is anybody willing to make a motion that
Move to approve the recommendation or request for
Milwaukee?
the gate valve exerciser.
Second.
Okay, a motion and a second on the table.
Mayor, I got a question. Who is this through?
That'd be Core and Main.
Thank you.
Any other discussion on it? If not, all in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Same sign opposed. Motion carries.
I know Ken covered a lot of the lead pipe water survey. I was talking with Jared with Bartlett and West. He said a lot of towns he's worked with got a lot of traction when they sent out a form, which they can take a picture, send it in, mail it in, drop it off at Rose. Or we designed a QR code where you can do it right from your phone. Said they got a lot of traction when they put $5 off your next water bill if you have it in by this date. And he said that stopped a lot of people from dragging their feet for that $5. So I was gonna see if the council has any ideas, or if you guys wanna throw that out there so we get some, this has to be in by October, right, Ken, October? So this has to get done. I mean, we could set something, for example, $5 if you have it in by February 15th, give you a month, After that, they don't get the $5. He said it drew a lot of attraction when they ran it before.
Just a one-time deal?
Just a one time. You have 1 month, and after that, you don't get your $5 off.
Bartlett gonna cover that, is there a contract?
Oh, that'd be on the city. Yeah.
I'm fine with that, to give them a little bit of an incentive to help spur this along. What I'm not okay with is our public works people have to go door to door and start banging on doors to check this out, that's not our spot, not being paid. I'm contracted with Bartlett to help with it. We can do our part, give them a $5 break on their water bill if they have the survey returned by, what's the next billing cycle?
So we'll read meters probably around next week, towards the end of the week. Bills will be out the following week. They'd be due by February 20th.
And that's when, if we get this all finalized, a copy of this will go out with the water bill, the next water bill.
That's my motion. And we would do our code for people.
Yep.
Okay, so those will have to be sent out separately from our water bill since we do the postcards,
Yep.
but. Okay. So we're thinking these are not gonna get sent out till next month then?
When you said, we'll do the read
Or
next
when we
week.
do, okay,
Yeah, I'll get with
so then
Patrick
February
tomorrow.
19th or 20th? Okay,
Maybe Rose will partner with us, they can print it and pay the postage. You're making money on it, not us.
I already volunteered Gene to lick envelopes, all 1,200 of them, so.
sounds great.
Okay, Chad, you made that a motion. Is there a second?
I'll second that.
All right, George, second. All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye. Thank you.
Same sign opposed. Motion carried. Okay, auditor updates.
So the only thing I have is you'll see I included an email which I got from the North Dakota League of Cities, which I already knew this was coming too, but it was on the Legacy Earning Highway Distribution Fund. So I did have to create a separate fund, as you see, and it states in this email that the money should be in its own fund for accounting purposes. So I just wanted to make the council aware that I did create a separate account. Sorry, I believe it was 23. Yeah, you'll see it says Legacy Earnings Highway Fund. So yeah, we received $46,725.34. And this is obviously every biennium is when we would receive these funds. And they are to only be utilized, kind of the same case as the highway tax we receive, which would be for our streets.
Okay, is there a second? Lynn, you want to do a,
Roll call?
yeah,
Kirk? Jesse? Ty?
Aye.
Linda?
Aye.
George?
Aye.
Chad?
probably wouldn't have had to on that, but I thought, well, it is creating an account, so.
We're through old minutes.
Oh, that was him. I thought you made the motion for the, okay, I didn't catch that. You guys just have, you guys just have to keep me up to speed on this. What was the,
I don't think we needed a motion for the account.
well, I've only got 2 years left in it. You gotta get me a little help. I thought you made a motion, just before that, huh?
No. She just, that was for FYI for us to know that there is an account created for the highway fund.
Right,
And then we quit talking about it. I didn't want you to forget that the minutes were approved, so I need to approve the minutes so that Barry can legally print it.
how long have the minutes been ready? I didn't think they were ready yet. so. Okay. Well, they still got approved, didn't they? Seeing that was perfect, that plan came right together. Attorney updates.
Nothing from me. The airport property is still set to close on the 15th. We're just waiting for title insurance to come back. And other than that, it should be still on track to close.
Perfect. Council concerns. Kirk. Jesse. George.
I'm also good.
Linda.
I'm good.
Okay. Chad.
The only thing I got is, the change of the property behind the fire hall and the spring furniture, trailer furnishing business. They are putting together the abstract for finding the deed or whatever, and it's in motion, so.
Mayor, may I make a comment on that? So Ryan did contact me, and of course, this was like right at holiday season, and I haven't gotten a chance because I told him, plus Lori was out of the office actually for the whole week. So I plan on contacting her this week because that is all listed as one parcel. I'm pretty sure we're gonna end up having to replat it. So,
We would probably have to replat it anyway, just simply because it's a portion of that parcel's actually.
Yeah.
so then we'll have to have Rose start working on that as
And
well.
that'll run right up to his foundation, basically, so.
No, it's, you gotta go like 6 inches south of the. So the drip line of the furniture store is dripping on the old top.
Okay, yeah. That can't be very far. So,
I don't know. Yeah. Who knows what it is.
okay, got that covered. Judge's report.
Motion to approve the judge's report.
Is there a second?
Second.
All in favor, signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. Okay, the monthly bills.
Okay, sorry, so there are some bills that they did come in the mail today, but I never got a chance to get to them with Ada out, so yeah, like the RTC bill came today. I know the Pinnacle one came today, but like I said, I was never able to get to them and add those in, but obviously those are our normal monthly bills that have to be paid.
Who would pay the bills with the additional ones that?
Okay. All right, there's a motion and a second to pay the bills. All in favor, signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Same sign opposed. Can I get a motion to adjourn?
So moved.
Is there a second?
Second.
All in favor, signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Same sign opposed. Thank you, everybody. We're adjourned.